All right, we're back with another Pick'em video. It is Saturday, January 31st in the NBA. We're on a 17-3 run in our last 20 picks on YouTube, which has been nuts. So hopefully you guys are riding along with me. We're going to go over the recap of yesterday's video picks like we always do, win or lose. Just been a whole lot of winning recently. And then we will talk about our plays for today. So if that sounds cool, go and leave the video a like, comment something down below, subscribe if you are new. You guys have been crushing the like button, like over 150 likes or something yesterday. So I did add a pinned play comment. We'll talk about that one as well. But yeah, super pumped about this little slate. So I guess 6-game slate, kind of our smallest slate in a while. We've just been getting a whole lot of games in January, and it's been working out really well for us. So let's hop into the recap real quick, and then we'll get into the plays for today. So we'd love to see it 1.08 units in the green, some positive profit yesterday. Now, if you just watch the video picks and you're like, where the heck did Jalen Brunson come from? Again, pin comment play. If you get to 100 likes, I'll do it again today. We won our first one. This is our second pin comment play, and he was a horrible read. Deuce McBride being rolled out didn't help us, but it was a plus 115, 2.5 3-pointers on the under for Jalen Brunson. He had like 5 threes, so horrible read there. But let's talk about the actual video picks that we talked about in the video, and we'll start with Jared Allen, who was another loss here. I love this read. This was great. He had 12 points in the first half of the game. And I thought we were cruising to an over here. The only problem was the Cavs got crushed, and Jared Allen didn't do anything in the second half. He literally recorded 1 rebound in the entire second half. No points, no assists, 1 rebound. What a bum. But yeah, we only had 0.75 units on it. That's a loss. But again, he got us in the first half. I was like, oh, this is going to cash, obviously. No, seen worse things. Alex Sarr under his 19.5 points. This is brutal because Bagley and Vucevic or whatever the other center's name was, pretty much everyone that was questionable got ruled out. And I was like, oh God, here we go. But luckily, Luka and the Lakers absolutely destroyed this team. And Alex Sarr ends with like 14 or 16 points and stays under for us. Mark Williams was in the same game, the Cavs game. They dominated, so he didn't play much in the fourth quarter, if at all. And he stayed under. I think he had like 17 points and rebounds. I think 10 and 7. So he stayed under. Thank you, Mark Williams. Once again, cashed out 2 days in a row with you. And then the Brooklyn Nets money line. MPJ got ruled out later in the day. I probably should have seen that coming, seeing as he hasn't played a back-to-back in a while. But he also wasn't injured. He had personal problems or something. So he didn't play, but we had Cam Thomas come through for us. And the Brooklyn Nets still beat the Jazz. And the whole read was, it wasn't even really the Brooklyn side of things. It was really the Jazz side of things, being like, they are so bad without Lauri Markkanen. They've literally, with Keontae George in the lineup and Lauri Markkanen not in the lineup, they've won 1 game. And that was, again, that 1 game against the Timberwolves where Yusuf Nurkic had a triple-double. Yusuf Nurkic didn't play in that game. And Keontae George had like 43 points. So we rode the Brooklyn Nets, and they got it done for us. So, again, 3-1 in the video picks yesterday. The added play was sucked, so hopefully you guys didn't see that one. But we're going to continue riding this thing out. We've been just absolutely cooking. It's been wild. And again, I appreciate all the support. Let's hop into the plays for today so I can get you guys on your way. So jumping into Props Madness like we always do to start talking about our plays. If you're looking at this tool and you're watching this video and you're like, I got to try this thing out, you can do so for 25% off your first month in the link in the description down below. It's a link of mine, and it lets them know that I sent you there. So it's a great way to support the channel as well, but you get a little discount. And Props Madness, obviously, you're going to see is freaking awesome. It's really fun to use, honestly, too, but really powerful. And we're starting with Cooper Flagg. Now, people are going to hate this. And again, let me know if you hate this play. You don't have to do exactly what I say. I just point out the plays that I like. And if you also like them, it's probably meaning it's a pretty good play. So Cooper Flagg, I'm taking the under. Points and assists, 24.5. He just absolutely went off. Now, what people don't know in this game, he had scored 49 points. I'm pretty sure in the first quarter, he had 2 points. So like 3 quarters, he was just on fire, couldn't miss. Shot 20 of 29, ridiculous percentage. And the Hornets have been pretty good defensively recently. But now they get the Rockets, who I think have been even better. And we got a few things to talk about in this game specifically because these guys have already played 3 times. And the Dallas Mavericks actually won 2 of those games on the season. Now they get, again, the Rockets, who have kind of turned things around. They had a little bit of a skid, but that was a January skid. That can happen. And I think they want to crush these guys. Cooper Flagg and the Dallas Mavericks, they're probably just like, hey, this season's a wash already. Let's just let Cooper do his thing. They're not going to hurt this dude. If you do remember, he got hurt in this game, came back, so played 28 minutes, 30 minutes, and now it started to creep back up after that 38-minute explosion. This is an 11.5-point spread, and I do think the Rockets are going to handle business because, again, they played each other 3 times. By the way, Cooper Flagg under in all 3 of those games. But they also won. The Dallas Mavericks won the last 2 games, so I think the Rockets want to get these wins that they can get, the easy wins if you want to call it. They want to rack up some, move up in the standings and everything like that. And I think they have the defensive pressure that can handle Cooper Flagg. Again, they've pretty much subdued him in all 3 of those games. AD did play in 2 of these games, but this one he didn't play. at all. And it's not like Cooper Flagg's crushing this line every single game. Even over the last 20 games, he's only over this in 55% of them. Sure, he lost some minutes here, but essentially what I'm getting at over the hit rate of this thing is he needs a lot of minutes to get over this line. And we can see if he plays 35 plus minutes, 60% hit rate, third plays like 38 plus minutes, that's when he's getting these crazy scoring outputs. And these are all really close games, 2-point game, 1-point game, 7-point game, 4-point game. All these are really, really close games. This is an 11.5 point spread. They're in Houston as well, so they're on the road. And they just came off a game that Cooper Flagg had 1 million points, 49 points in that game. I think this is a cool down spot. Like, you're not going to shoot 20 of 29 every single game. And the last thing I'll point to is the games that they're losing. If they lose by 10 plus points, win-loss margin. If they're going to lose by 10 plus points, we'll see the hit rate drop to 1 of 10 games. So that was like the whole buildup of this thing. But I think the Rockets are obviously a very good defensive team. They're 5th defensive rating. If they come out and smack these guys around, it's going to be very hard for Cooper Flagg to get there. If the game stays close, if you think this is going to be a competitive game, you think Cooper Flagg can do it again against a really tough defense, and he's going to play 38 plus minutes, then sure, he's going to crush this line. But I think he's going to get less time in the court. I think it will be, a 10-point or so game, whatever we're thinking. Again, they've got one game over here that they lost exactly by 10. I think the Rockets handle business here against the Dallas Mavericks, and Cooper's just doesn't have the time in the court to do it. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. Not saying he's a bad player at all. He's not. He's a young dude, and they're gonna save his legs for other games that they're going to compete. And even if this isn't some blowout, I can't just have my play be, this is going to be a blowout. Cooper Flagg's not going to get a lot of minutes. This is just a tough defensive rating. In games, he's pretty much going against, bad defensive teams and going, crazy against them. Challenging defensive rating, only over in 3 of 15 games. And again, they can see the assists allowed. They rank number 2. They have a lot of good defenders. He probably starts at the point guard spot. They haven't listed a forward, but he's been running the point a lot. So he's probably going to get Amin Thompson on him, a really good defender. There's just not a lot of good spots here for him. And again, just defensive rating. I don't have to do too much to look at good defensive teams. Cooper Flagg not doing very well this season. So I'm taking my chances on Cooper Flagg. He just went off recently, which is kind of the exact reason why I'm going to, bet on him to come back down to earth. Next play I'm liking is going to be a guy that I faded the other day. We faded his points line, and now I'm going to go to his assists line, and I'm actually going to look at the over here. Now, it's 7.5. It's juiced. -130 is like the best odds you're going to get right now. So I'm actually going to get this up to 9.5 assists as well. Stay tuned for the recap for how I exactly do that. I'll probably sprinkle something on the 7.5 assists, but I will get this up to 9.5 assists, just so I'm probably trying to win about a unit here without risking too much. But Nembhard's been assist machine recently. Obviously started the season off a little slower because he was, started the season injured. He actually was pretty good when he first started, but the minutes were slow when he first started the season. That's a whole long time ago now. He's getting around 30 plus minutes, and this is a 1.5 point spread. So should see a lot of time on the court. Now let's look at the last 20 games like we just were looking at. Obviously, the hit rate on this is looking pretty good over the 7.5. Now over the 9.5 doesn't look as good, but still getting double digits assists in a few of these games. And he did just play the Hawks recently, and he scored 4 points in that game, or 6 points. Not many points. Didn't shoot very well, and only shot like 10 times. But he had 20 potential assists in that game with 86 passes, and he was just running the offense. Now, how does this team play defense? Well, they allow a lot of assists right at this restricted area, which we love to see. 34% assists come right at the restricted area, but they allow a lot of assists above the break too, and they also allow a lot of pull-up action. So at first I was looking at Nembhard's points, and I was like, is he going to score a lot? But then I realized, okay, let's look at the points. How do they defend really well? And their main source of offense here is the pick and roll ball handling from Nembhard. They ranked 8th pretty there, so it's pretty good there. So they're a pretty good pick and roll ball handling defense. That means if they're going to be defending the pick and roll ball handler, they're probably a little bit weaker to the pick and roll big man. I did find Johnny Furphy, pick and roll big man. They ranked 25th, so they are weak in that spot. And or he can set some other guys for some open threes. They probably double or switch immediately on those pick and rolls. So he should be able to get some open guys for some good looks. And the numbers are going to go right to this. So going back to the assist line, and we're going to look at the opponent's rankings towards the pick and roll ball handler right here. Again, they rank 8th. In these challenging matchups, we've seen him actually almost get a triple or a double-double in 5 straight games. He had 9 assists against the Bulls on 21 potentials, 20 potentials, somehow got 11 potentials against the OKC Thunder, but 14 and then 17. So you can see the potential assists very, very high in these games. And we can actually go see potential assists really high in a lot of these games. And so I like Nembhard in this one. It's a close spread. Expected minutes is 26 to 36 minutes or so. And again, these are better defensive teams in terms of that pick and roll ball handling, which should open up the passes available to him if they're going to be swarming him and making it a little bit difficult for him to score the ball. And you can actually see the scoring in some of these games also pretty dang good, but against the Hawks specifically, 6 points, like I mentioned earlier. So I'd like Nembhard. I think he's going to be able to dime up a little bit. I think he can get 10 plus assists. I'm going to be chasing some plus money on that one. But if you want the normal line of 7.5, that's still available at around a minus 130 price tag. And the last thing I'll say about Nembhard real quick is the fact that he's kind of growing into his role. Again, I got the potential assists up, and that's the blue line here. And you can see the gradual uptick, especially last 10 games, just a lot of potential assists. And I think he's really growing into this Halliburton type of role. He doesn't need, Halliburton can score 35 points in a game. Nembhard can do that too, but he's really leaning into that distributor role, and the potential assists, the passes have all been up since the beginning of the season, where he can, again, put the ball in the basket if he needs to, but he can really dime up and make the right decision, and that's what he's been doing the last 10 games, and that's why I think this hit rate is so good recently. So again, 7.5 assists, minus 130 on ESPN bet, but I could also ladder this up to 9.5 assists. I'm going to find another play for the later games, but if you're watching this video and you're like, oh, there's a game at 12, any plays for that? I do want to point out one play that I like, and if you're on PrizePicks or Underdog, this is available there. You could also just play this straight at minus 125 on BetMGM, but Collin Sexton under 15.5 PRA. Obviously, the hit rate in this recently has been great. The hit rate in the season has been horrible on the under. But the newsflash, wake up. The Hornets are actually kind of good right now, and they've been crushing it with their starting lineup of LaMelo, Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, Con Knipple, and Diabate. All these guys in lineup. Now we're looking at about a 52% hit rate. But you can also see the minutes are really low, especially, not the beginning of the year. They were pretty dang high, but he's not getting more than 23 minutes in any of these games. Sometimes only like 16 minutes, 14 minutes in some of these games. So again, all these guys active, and he's not going to play more than 23 minutes. The hit rate's now dropping to a 43% on the over. So I'm looking at the under. Great defensive rating, and games that he's played tough defenses. He's played 2 of them. He stayed under in both those games and played 20 and 23 minutes. So Sexton's role is definitely reducing. They're running a lot of their starting players because they've kind of finally found their run. Even Ryan Cockburn not getting too many minutes because Diabate is playing so well. So they're going to run their big guys, or not their big guys, their main guys a whole lot, and then pretty much the 5 guys off the bench are getting the majority of the other time. So unless someone gets in foul trouble and Collin Sexton has to get in there or someone gets hurt, I don't see Sexton playing more than 23 minutes. And again, taking away pretty much all the filters, just looking at 23 minutes, the hit rate starts to look even better already, 50%. But again, you're looking at the defensive rating. It's a tough defense. It's a low spread. It's either going to be probably a grudge match where it's a low-scoring game, and he's under in all 3 of those games. So Sexton can fill it up pretty quickly. But he's got the Spurs, horrible matchup to score inside, horrible matchup within 10 feet. That's a lot of his scoring. Transition, pick and roll ball handling. You can see these point guards going up against his team. A lot of these bench point guards not doing very well. So Sexton, fading him, kind of a reduced role here for the Hornets. But if you already missed this one, I got another play for you guys. Before we get into that, real quick shout out to Pickett. If you guys aren't on Pickett, it's a great bet tracker for you. It's a free bet tracker for you, seamless to use, very easy to use. And when you use code RichPicks when signing up, they give you $3 or $100 just Venmo'd or PayPal to you just by syncing your first sports book. And again, totally free for you guys to use. So if you're on DraftKings, Underdog, PrizePicks, FanDuel, whatever it is, any sportsbook out there, they're going to be able to sync to it, and it's going to tell you if you're winning, losing over the course of a day, week, month, year, all time. Seamless to use, and you want to know if you're winning or losing your plays, and pick it. Absolutely no-brainer for you guys to get on. So jumping to our last play of the video, it's actually going to be kind of a 2-parter. I'm going to mention 2 guys here on the 76ers, and I'm looking at rebounds and assists for both of them, starting with Paul George, plus 105 on the under 9.5 rebounds and assists. Now, this is a perfect matchup to get rebounds and assists, but it's also a great matchup for other guys to get rebounds and assists, and there's only so many to go around. And it's not like Paul George crushes this line very often. He does get right around the line. He's got a guy that's, it's a high floor, but it's also kind of a high ceiling. He hovers right around this line, but still only over in about 40% of games. And again, the weird, plus 105 price tag, I guess, is baked in because it's such an easy matchup to get rebounds, to get assists. But going through here and looking games with Embiid, games with Maxey, 40% hit rate, 41% hit rate on the entire year with both these guys in the lineup. He's been getting pretty steady minutes also in a lot of these games. And it's an 8.5 point spread. You can't expect a blowout here. The Pelicans have been okay recently, and they're pretty much fully healthy. But it is an 8.5 point spread. There is some blowout potential, which is going to be a good thing on an under. But looking at like assists allowed, these favorable assists allowed matchups, Okay, it's not like he's going over and like crushing this line. 33% of games in these favorable assist matchups. Favorable rebounds matchup, right here. Okay, it's not, again, another one that's like he's only over in 1 of 4 games. So it's not like it's like, okay, they give up a lot of assists. George is going to get a ton of assists here. Oh, they give up a lot of rebounds. George is going to get a ton of rebounds here. It's more like there's probably other guys like, Maxey, a ball handler, Embiid, an actual big man that can grab a whole bunch of rebounds in a hurry. It's probably those guys I'd want to look at. So I'm looking at Paul George under the 105, under the 9.5 rebounds and assists for plus 105. I love that price tag. Then the other guy I was looking at was going to be Embiid. I was also looking at his under rebounds and assists, but I was like, I don't want to have 2 guys with rebounds and assists. I would take them separately, obviously. And again, everything I just said about Paul George is true. Embiid could have one of these big rebounding games against a team like this. The hit rate doesn't show it, but he is starting to get a lot of minutes recently. And, the blow-up potential is there and everything. But he's been scoring really well. So the pivot would be not the rebounds and assists for Embiid. If you don't want the under against for a guy like Paul George, you think the Pelicans are going to keep this thing close, go to Joel Embiid to score some points. He's been cooking. He's been getting 30-plus points in a lot of these games. The line's at 29.5 for plus money or 28.5 around a minus 125. Obviously, go with whichever one you like. But I think Embiid could play pretty well today. I don't think this is going to be an official video pick. I do like the Paul George under. But I do think Embiid, if you don't want the under for Paul George, it's a pretty good spot to attack a guy like Embiid, who's been playing a lot of minutes and he's been cooking with the minutes he's given. 30-plus minutes, 32-plus minutes. This is what he can do. But again, there is some blowout potential if the Pelicans don't keep this thing close. But regardless, even if Embiid plays limited minutes, he could crush these guys down low. You can see the matchup. You could see potentially getting to the free throw line. It's a pretty good spot for him. But again, my favorite spot here is going to be the Paul George under the rebounds and assists, especially with that plus 105 price tag. So jumping to the recap of what we talked about in this video, if you guys are just getting here before the noon game Eastern time, Collin Sexton under his PRA, throwing 0.5 units on that. There's a lot of variance in that line. If there's some sort of injury or foul trouble, Collin Sexton will get more time than expected, and then he could absolutely go over this thing. But low scoring game, if you want some midday action here, that's who I'm riding with. But again, only a 0.5 unit play. We'll go up to the top, though. The 1 unit play is Cooper Flagg under his points and assists, coming off that monster game. He's got a really tough matchup here against the Rockets. Andrew Nembhard to get 7.5 assists and 9.5 assists, so 8-plus or 10-plus assists. I'm running 0.8 units on the 7.5, the normal line at minus 130, and then I'm running 0.2 units on the 9.5. If they both cash, we win about a unit. And if, we can still profit even if he doesn't get the 10-plus assists and still gets the 7.5. And then lastly, Paul George under his 9.5 rebounds assists, plus 105. I love the price tag. It's probably going to be sweaty. He's probably going to be very close, but there's blowout potential that could help this. And even in these great matchups, it's not typically Paul George that's grabbing a whole bunch of rebounds, grabbing a whole bunch of assists. It's pretty much these other guys that are benefiting from that. So 3.5 units down on the NBA today. We have been crushing it, and we going to try to continue that. I appreciate all the support. The likes have been awesome. I love reading all of your comments. I usually respond to most all of them. And again, really, really appreciate it. So enjoy your Saturday. Enjoy your weekend. I will see you guys in the next one. Not breaking down every single game today because it is Saturday and it's a little bit later. We got a game starting in an hour. So I want to get this video out for everyone. But yeah, I appreciate everyone. Good luck with all your bets. Subscribe to my Discord if you want. Join my Discord if you want access to all my plays. Check out Props Madness. That was a tool I was using to show all the plays. And check out Pickett, $3 or $100 just by signing up to Pickett. Free bet tracker for you guys to use. So that's it for the shout outs. I guess I'll shout out one more thing and to be Betr because we had a 20x win on Betr. If you're not on Betr, you can use my code RichPicks, link in the description down below. And again, we crush Betr. If you sign up for Betr, maybe I'll even comment something down below. Maybe I'll even throw you a free month of the Discord community. But Betr, really, really fun app to use. They have discounts every single day. But that's it. I'm talking too much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.